What's up, Weld 2 family? It's Abraham here again. I got my friend Jason from Weld.com. He's been touring the United States. Tell us a little about your journey.
So we started off in Largo, Florida, went all the way out to San Diego, hit up a couple events along the way, delivered a grill to Sam the Cooking Guy, came back, did the 2019 Good Land Fest in Temple, Texas, and then stopped by Houston because we can't get out of Texas without seeing our friends over here in South Coast.
Happy to have you.
Appreciate the invite, man.
Yeah. So in today's video, I got this 1-inch plate. What I'm gonna do, we're gonna split it. I'm gonna do the root with a hard wire. Then I'm gonna fill it with flux core, dual shield using C25 gas. And then my friend Jason right here, he's gonna cap it and then go around and art gouge it.
Cool. Let's get to it, man. You ready?
Let's get to it.
All right.
Alright, so I got this 1-inch plate right here. I'm about to make the root. It's in a 2G position. And the technique I use is pretty much, I do C's when I do a 2G plate with MIG. And what I look for is, that my puddle isn't eating away at the edge. If it starts eating away at the edge, I'll move up and try to grab more of the meat. And I also stretch my stride out more if it starts eating away. If it's not, I just continue the same pattern. So, just like this. Alright, so for my settings here for my root pass, I'm running 18 volts and about anywhere from, let's say, 230 to 240 wire speed. It's not digital, so I can't tell you an exact number, but I did notice that my wire speed was a little high, so next time I would try 220. Bam. Nice. Yeah, I think I have too much wire. One thing about this, I've noticed I was doing my root. At times it would start popping, and I've noticed I think the reason was because I had too much wire. If I lower the wire, I'll probably run a better bead. Other than that, I was able to keep it under control. How's the back look?
Looks good, man.
Nice.
Nice.
Oh, yeah.
Good stuff.
Yes, sir. So what do you think, Jason?
All right, so, I mean, the back looks great. You got a nice uniform, tight weld. Everything's, very, very uniform. There's no whiskers on the back. Everything's clean. You got a good tie-in. There's no lack of fusion, no lack of penetration. Front, same thing, man. Everything looks good. You ready to start the fill?
Yes, sir. And ladies and gentlemen, I did not pay him.
No, not yet. COD. Once they cut the cameras off, though.
Alright guys, so I'm about to start my hot pass. Like I said, I'm gonna do it with dual shield using C25 gas. My settings on my machine are 24 volts and about 300 wire speed. So let's do this. So you hold 1, 2, 1, 2 down, 1, 2 down, 1, 2 down, 1, 2 down, 1, 2 down. 2 down, 1, 2 down, 1, 2 down, 1, 2, 1, 2 down, 1, 2 down. Always pause on top so I get a good tie-in on the top wall. And I do notice my machine a little cold, so my next couple of beads I will be turning it up to 25. It's always good to run hot when you're running with flux core. Alright guys, so the technique I used for my hot pass, I was pretty much just zigzagging up and down, and what I did, I would hold on top, 1, 2, go back down, but I would shoot straight back up and hold 1, 2. The reason I hold up here is so that I'll tie into the upper wall. Down here, you don't have to you don't have to hold it because of gravity. You know, gravity is your friend for the bottom wall. So I'm about to start my fill passes. For my fill passes, sometimes I zigzag and sometimes I go back and forth. That's what I do. So when I fill a flux core, I follow a sequence. I did a hot pass, that's 1 bead. After that, I'm going to put 2 beads. And I stack them. I do the bottom bead, and then I stack the second bead on top. So now I'm going to start my top bead. Remember guys, always start from bottom to top. Finished flushing this 1-inch plate. Guys, always remember to keep a sequence going. So what I did my root, did a hot pass, and after that I stacked 2 beads in there, and I stacked 3 beads in there, and then 4 beads in there, and then 5 beads in there, and then 6, 7, 8, however much you need. You always want to start from the bottom to top, okay? And once you get to the cap, you don't always have to start all the way at the bottom, because sometimes the bottom will get flushed out and you just need a little bit more. You need 1 or 2 more beads on top, and it's okay just to add those 2 beads on top. You know, always go based on what you see, not on you don't have to follow a sequence all the time. Pass it over to my man Jason right here. He's gonna cap it and argouge the back and finish the back out. One more thing, I don't know if you've ever seen this procedure. I remember I did this procedure when I used to work with my dad. When I first started my welding career, well, I first started as a helper. I was working at the shop he was a welder at, and he used to work with pressure vessels. And he would pretty much get the tank in or vessel in, and he would make the root, do about 2 hot passes with a flux core or 3 hot passes with a flux core, and he'll sub-arc the long seam, okay? And then after that, he'll turn the tank around and argouge the back and fill it with flux core. And if it was a big bevel, he would also sub-arc that. And this is where I saw this from, and yeah, hope y'all learning something.
All right, so Abraham went ahead, he got the root pass in there, he got all the fill passes. I'm gonna go ahead and put the cap in. I think he's got about 25 to 30 passes in here. This guy's a machine. I'm hesitant about putting a cap on there because I don't want to cover this up. This looks more like a work of art. So I gotta cover this man's work up. So, but he has this nice little cut line in there. I'm going to kind of use that as a visual reference, not to go past as I go for that first pass on that cap. We'll run the rest of the caps, do the carbon arc cut on the back, and then we'll put a back weld in there, and she should be done.
Alright, so my man Jason just finished capping his 1-inch plate. What we're gonna do now, we're gonna back gouge it or arc gouge it. We're gonna be using the same welding machine we used to weld it. We're gonna use that machine to gouge it. It's not recommended to do that because I heard that messes them up. But usually, whenever you're gonna gouge at the other shops or other companies, they usually have a specific machine assigned for just arc gouging. Because they say after you arc gouge with it, it does something to the arc. It doesn't produce a stable arc after that. But we're gonna use the same machine, and so I'm gonna connect it. Alright guys, so it's not recommended to arc gouge with your welding machine that you weld with. Usually shops have their own welding machine assigned for back gouging because they say it messes with the arc. I really don't know if that's true or not, but from where I worked at, all the places, they do have their own welding machines assigned specifically for gouging. Ready?
Yeah, get it. All right, so we got the plate cap. We're gonna go ahead to the back side, and unfortunately we gotta cut out this awesome weld that Abraham put in. It looks too good to cut out, but we're gonna cut it out anyway just for instructional purposes and a demonstration only. We're gonna use a 1/4 inch carbon arc gouging rod. I think he's got the machine set about 350 amps. I went ahead and I swapped out hoods because I need something a little bit darker. I usually run a 10 in my Outlaw hood. I have a 13 on the Sentinel, so that should be good enough to get me through that. And then we'll go ahead, clean that up with a grinder, get all the carbon deposits out, and then we'll go ahead and put a couple passes on the back. One thing you want to make sure of whenever you're doing carbon arc gouging is you have little air holes right here, these little vents. That's where the compressed air is going to come from. You want to make sure that that is pointed in the direction of your cutting. So because this piece right here on the inside will swivel all the way around 360 degrees, you could very well possibly have your air holes pointing this way with the rod facing that way and still have the orientation held the same. You want to make sure that when you do this, get the air holes facing towards the direction of the cut. Another thing you want to make sure of, when you put this in here, you don't want any more than 6 inches of that carbon arc electrode sticking out of here, okay? Because if you do that, you're going to get ineffective cuts. So you want to make sure that it's 6 inches or less. Once you start getting out too far, it's not going to be effective for cutting.
What I usually do, I just get my hand and I measure the width of my hand, and that's how much stick out I want. That's what I do. That's how I measure it.
All right, so we got everything back gouged out. I went ahead with the grinder, cleaned it up, get all the carbon deposits out. If you don't do that, if you try to go in grinding after you just clean a little bit of it up, you'll develop hard brittle spots in your weld. You don't want that. So we're gonna go ahead and switch it back over to the flux core, and then we're gonna cap this back out.
Alright guys, well there you have it. We welded this 1-inch plate, back gouged it. I'd like to thank my friend Jason over here for coming out here and welding with me, man. I feel privileged to be working with him, shooting with him. Again, thanks a lot, Weld.com.
Thanks for having us out,
And
man.
until next time, don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe.